Hello, hello, my panda pals, and welcome back. Today we're going to be covering what happened on Love in Paradise, Season 4, Episode 8. Today, I am going to do things a little bit different. You guys probably won't notice a big difference, but I definitely will. Normally, when I make these videos, I heavily script everything, and so I know what to say, when to say it, and it's very comforting. But today, I wrote a couple of quick bullet points. I don't know how this is going to work, so I guess we will find out together. With that said, sit down, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. Let's start things off with Annie and the most charming man in her life. It is a new day and God's gift to the earth is still riding on that post-nut high. And yes, it is because he is post-nut. The two did the nasty last night. Unprotected.
Did you use protection last night?
We didn't use protection.
Why?
We didn't bring that up.
He then starts walking us through a little bit more in detail of what happened last night.
We were doing missionary, and then, God, she got so loud. I was scared the neighbors were gonna, call the police because she was moaning.
And he says that Annie's eyes popped out of her head when she saw that he had the longest pee-pee she had ever seen.
We were still kissing and stuff, getting in the mood, and then she's like, oh my God, that's the longest penis I've ever seen in my life.
Gross. I could have died without that information. I wish I could, but I can't anymore, so neither can you. Annie then confirms what Kyle said. She said he has a huge dong.
Kyle has a big penis, yes. It's huge.
Okay, so are we talking anaconda or are we talking tiny little garden snake? Because if you think about it, if all Annie has ever seen are earthworms, a tiny little garden snake looks pretty huge. I just refuse to believe that this man with such little pee-pee energy does not have a little pee-pee. Annie is out getting an ovulation test because she didn't think that she was ovulating, but I mean, who knows? What if she is?
Sperm can live in the body of the woman between 3 to 5 days. So I just want to be on the safe side.
If you wanted to be on the safe side of things, you should have just used protection. I don't understand. Annie tells us that once she turned 39, she started to panic because she could feel her biological clock starting to run out, which is why she initially reached out to Kyle for his baby batter. But then she thought, hold up a minute, I'm a pretty busy woman, maybe I shouldn't do this alone. And so instead of saying no thank you to the donation, she decided to pursue a relationship with the donor. But now she's thinking, maybe I shouldn't have a baby, and maybe I shouldn't have a baby with the man that I'm in a relationship with because our relationship is pretty unstable. Girl, just stop. This whole panic-induced fever dream, it has to stop. Just go talk to a therapist and breathe. Annie goes ahead, takes the ovulation test. It is a bit inconclusive because the line is very faint, and so she decides to call the best boyfriend in the world and ask him to pick up the morning after pill.
Would you mind buying me the morning after pill then?
But you're not ovulating.
Yeah, I just feel like it's much more safer to take it.
I mean, it just is kind of weird.
They argue back and forth because he thinks she's being disrespectful to his line of work, and she thinks he's being disrespectful because he's not letting her have agency over her body.
You have to respect my feelings. I think you not respect me right now.
I am respecting your feelings.
No, you're not.
Annie does not really want to argue, so she just tells him to shut up and go pick up the pill. Man of the Year shows up for dinner at her place, and just guess, who did not do the one thing he was supposed to do? Yes, it's him. He did not do it. He did not pick up the morning after pill.
Did you get my
What?
pill?
What about that?
He tries to argue with her and says that fertility is his specialty. He knows the ins and outs of pregnancy. A, that ovulation test result was very light and it needs to be dark to indicate that she's actually ovulating. B, he tracks her cycle so he knows for a fact that she was not ovulating, as if those things don't fluctuate all the time. And C, Annie is older, so it's already super difficult for her to get pregnant. He also sidebar tells us that he's not practiced when it comes to pulling out with women because of the nature of his job, but he did pull out with Annie and he thinks he did an okay job. Cause he's like, yeah, I pulled out. I think I pulled out in time. I mean, sure, I might have left a little bit of something in there, but I'm sure we're fine.
Usually I don't pull out. With Annie, I kind of pulled out, but I don't know how to pull out really. So, it did seem like I may have got some sperm in there.
Annie needs to go on birth control that she gets herself. because even if she used protection, this man seems like the kind of man that would poke holes in that condom.
Okay, you're freaking me out, really. I can't be with a man who is so controlling over my body.
Moving on to Shawn and Alliya. Alliya is out with her friend Jackie getting braided extensions put in. They sit down and Jackie asks her if Shawn was super annoyed with her because of all the questions she was asking when they were going out to the waterfall. And Alliya says it's okay because it was a good thing to bring up. Now both her and Shawn have it in their minds that they need to talk about that topic a lot more.
Jackie asked Shawn about his financials and he got really annoyed. But I was grateful. I need to start thinking about my future.
Jackie goes on to ask how spicy time has been between the two of them, and Alliya tells us that they have not actually done it at all during this trip. She's actually been avoiding it because she first needs to talk to Shawn about the status of their open relationship.
Do you have an open relationship?
Yes.
Oh.
So apparently, Alliya thought they were monogamous, Shawn did not, and one day a long time ago, they were together and Alliya found dating apps on Shawn's phone, and when she brought it up, he was like, yeah, I mean, we're in an open relationship, so I've been meeting up with people in a sexual nature. And Alliya's like, excuse me? Alliya was obviously hurt, but she does reluctantly agree with Shawn to stay in an open relationship for the time being. And obviously, with the potential marriage, she doesn't want that anymore.
If Shawn is not willing to be monogamous, I don't know if I will compromise, even though we just got engaged.
Shawn tells us that he just assumed they were in an open relationship because they never had the what are we conversation and outlined that they wanted to be strictly monogamous. He does admit that his love language is touch, and they were dating, only seeing each other a few weeks out of the year. He does admit that if Alliya did not agree to stay in an open relationship with him, he would have probably ended up breaking up with her because that kind of dynamic just doesn't work for him.
If I made the commitment to waiting for us to be back together physically, I think we would have broken up.
I don't think he's wrong for thinking that they are casual, but I do think he's wrong for not clarifying, considering how long they've been dating and their ultimate end goal together. The two are back home and Shawn is helping Alliya put her braids up, and Alliya asks him if he wants to continue being in an open relationship when they are married and living together. And Shawn doesn't really answer, but he says that the only reason he needed to be in an open relationship was because he didn't want to be alone for 8 months in a row.
I just needed to have an open relationship, usually like 8 months in between the times that we see each other. Just didn't make sense to me.
Shawn is very honest and open during this conversation, and he is fully aware that Alliya was reluctant when agreeing to the open relationship. Alliya goes on to ask Shawn if he's still attracted to her.
I was wondering, that I'm like Alliya full time. That affects the way that you look into me.
And Shawn does say he finds her so beautiful, but for him, if he wants to do the nasty, he needs to feel empowered as the man in the bedroom.
Douglas was so much more shyer and quieter. I would describe Alliya's personality outgoing, very sassy and bossy.
He goes on to tell us that he's totally fine with Alliya having those personality traits, but not with him. Shawn refers to Alliya as a persona that is very entitled, which obviously Alliya does not agree with.
You could be the boss bitch, but you can't be the boss bitch of me.
I'm really surprised that Shawn's feeling this way.
I really liked Shawn in the beginning, but the more that I hear him talk, the less and less I like about him. I understand that he does not want Alliya to have power over him, and that's fine. The problem is that he does not want her to have power over him because he wants to have power over her. And that part I'm not okay with. Because here he is saying that Alliya can't be the boss bitch of him, but he's expecting to be the boss bitch of her. Moving on to Alex and Adriano. The two are meeting up with Alex's cousin Tiffany and Adriano's friend Gaetano. Alex tells Adriano that this week has been an absolute mess and she just wants to have a good time, so essentially she's telling him to behave.
We've been arguing about threesomes. Nothing has been figured out, but I want to believe that this relationship is worth saving.
They head to the beach and meet up with Gaetano first, and he asks them, how's everyone doing? and the two of them can't even lie and say that they're doing good. So they just say, we've had a lot of fights, and Gaetano's like, oh, is it about threesomes again? And Adriano's like, I mean, that's some of it, but mainly it's been about religion and why I don't believe in God.
We've been talking about love, trust.
The love and trust, they don't belong to religion. It's like something completely different.
Oh my goodness, I don't want to hear this.
And bro, it's not about religion. It's still about threesomes. Girl wants you to believe in God because God said threesomes are bad, and if you believe in God, then you will believe threesomes are bad and you will not have any threesomes anymore. Adriano says that the two of them have been fighting, but he's okay with it because fighting makes sure that you don't lose interest in the person that you're dating.
If you're in a relationship, when you win every argument, it makes you lose the interest. I like to fight for what I want.
That is definitely an opinion that you can have. It's a weird one, but you can have it. I would not want to be dating someone who needs to pick fights with me in order to stay interested enough to date me. Tiffany and Gaetano walk off and leave Alex and Adriano alone, and Adriano's like, ooh, honey, you are so beautiful. Just as beautiful as those group of women over there that we can maybe have a threesome with.
Sir.
Let's go to dinner with one girl.
No. I'm serious when I say I don't want the threesome thing anymore.
And Adriano tells her that threesomes are a part of his life and he is never gonna stop asking. Quick story time. Little baby Boba, when she was 18, a freshman in college, she dated a man who she should not have dated. And this man really wanted threesomes. And I say man, but he was 19. And he kept pushing me all the time. Even though I said, I do not want it, I am not comfortable. He would be like, okay, well maybe, why don't we try it with a friend? Like, why don't we try it with your best friend? Like, you'd be comfortable with her, right? I'm like, no, I don't want to see my best friend naked. I don't want my mouth near her cooter. Like, No, I don't want your mouth near her cooter. Shut up. But then he would keep doing it. He would be like, okay, well, how about I pick someone? Or how about I let you pick someone? How about this stranger? How about this girl we met at a party? Blah, blah, blah. All this to say, Alex, he means it when he tells you that he's not gonna stop asking you for it. All that's gonna end up happening if you keep saying no is that he's still going to have those threesomes with or without you. Moving on to Luke and Madeleine. Luke tries to diffuse the tension by saying, listen, they are both in Guatape, they have friends coming, let's just stop fighting for the time being and enjoy ourselves. Brian and his wife arrive and Madeleine says that she's just gonna suck it up and deal with these idiot men later.
Luke! Hey, buddy!
I deal with these idiots men later.
They head to the water park, and this water park looks like so much fun. I don't really love being in the water, but I would absolutely do it for this. This is just like an inflatable obstacle course. The group settle down after they've had their fun, and Madeleine wastes zero time in confronting Brian.
Brian, why you like to be inside my relationship? Why you say to look to get a
prenup?
Brian tells us that he just does not trust Madeleine anymore, and he tells everybody that a friend of his told him that he was at a house party that Madeleine was having at her home, and he was in her bed with him while she was topless.
He was in the same bed with you.
You slept in the same bed? Is it true? Were you naked?
I am not naked.
Luke obviously freaks out and says that he's done and walks away. Madeleine does try to talk to him and stop him, but he does not want to hear it. Luke said that he trusted her, but now he doesn't trust her, which is a lie. Luke definitely brought up that prenup because he did not trust her.
I don't have any trust in you.
I can't control you or tell me, please trust me. I'm never gonna to do that for something I don't do.
Madeleine says that she did have a party. She is not denying that. She never has denied that. But this guy was drunk and came into her room without her permission and laid in her bed. Madeleine absolutely could have cheated on Luke, but I don't think it is far-fetched to believe that a man who was drunk came into her bedroom and just did not listen to her when she said to leave. After blowing up their relationship and having everything be awkward, Brian is like, yeah, so we're gonna dip. Thanks for the fun morning. I hope you guys break up. Bye.
This is teenager, high school drama. I want to be with a woman. I do not want to be with a girl.
Which begs the question, what did you expect when you were dating a girl? And that, my Panda Pals, is all I have for you today. A huge shout out to my Panda patrons. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. If you guys like this video, you guys want to also show your support and help this channel grow, go ahead and click that subscribe button or click the link in the description to learn how to become a Panda patron. I hope to see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!